coworkers used to ask me all the time, how do you stay consistent on YouTube while working full-time and also running your side project? Now, the assumption is that I have more time because I'm not married or I do not have kids, or I'm simply more motivated. But that is not necessarily the case. Yes, my case is different from someone with a kid and a family. However, I do have other responsibilities and mental clutter that eats up my time. The truth is, if I wake up every single day and think about what to film or when to edit, I would quit. What I do is I rely on a 90-day content system. And in this video, I'm going to take you behind the scenes, right? I'm going to show you exactly how I use AI to generate ideas, my batch filming schedule, and my Notion workflow that keeps me sane. If you feel like your side project is a disorganized mess, then this video is the blueprint you need. And listen, you cannot execute a 90-day plan if you do not have control over your current week. And my weekly reset system is the foundation of everything that I do. It is the exact tool I use to find the time slot for the filming and the editing process I'm about to show you. So go to the link in the description box below and download the template, or simply comment weekly reset and I'm going to send it to you. And I share systems like this every single week to help ambitious working women with side projects build a productivity system that works with your real life without burnout. Now, if that sounds like the vibe you need, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and then let's dive in. The biggest time waster for any content creator is sitting down and asking, what do I create today? What should I film today? So I do not do that. I don't guess what you want to watch. I just let the data guide me. I use a two-step process to fill my content bank. Now, the first source for my content is direct client feedback plus AI. So I am constantly doing market research, and every time I interview a client or I do a coaching call, I have a transcript, but I do not have the time to read through hours of text every single week, right? So I use ChatGPT or Gemini as my research assistant. And here's the exact workflow. I upload the client's transcription or my ICA profile document, and I use the specific prompt. Based on this transcript, I identify the top 5 burning questions or frustrations my ideal client has regarding time management, then generate 5 YouTube video titles that directly answer the specific problems. And I go a little bit deeper, right? I tell the AI to make sure these titles include the key phrase working women. So it targets them specifically on YouTube because those are my ideal clients. So the AI gives me titles that use the exact words my clients use, like feeling overcommitted or midday slump, burnout, overwhelmed. And this all means the video is going to resonate with this specific group of people. Not everybody, just a specific group of people. Now, my second source of content is YouTube Studio data. So if you're already posting, your audience is kind of leaving you breadcrumbs, right? So I go to the research tab in YouTube Studio. I look at your viewers' searches to kind of figure out what my viewers are typing into the search bar. So I do not get a lot of feedback from that because I do not have a lot of subscribers or a lot of views at this point. But what really helps me is looking at my top performing videos by retention. Now, if I see a spike in retention on videos about time blocking, I do know that I need to make maybe a part 2 or a deep dive video on this topic. And one of the things that I equally do, which has been very, very helpful for me, is I ask Studio using this prompt. Based on my top 3 performing videos, either by retention or views, so whichever one I'm looking for, I choose one of those, either by retention or by views. Please suggest 5 other topics that will appeal to my ideal viewer. Again, I'm gonna say make this title include the keywords working women. So I target this specific group of people on YouTube. I am not looking for everybody to watch my videos. I want this specific women because what I am saying appeals to them specifically. So once I have my ideas in Notion, it is time to script my videos. Now, I used to stare at a blinking cursor for hours trying to figure out the perfect opening statement because we all know that those opening statements are very, very critical. I do not do that anymore. I have a 2-step hybrid workflow that cuts my scripting time in half. Now, the very first step is a human element. So AI is great, right? However, it does not know my life, doesn't know my experiences, and it equally does not know my clients. So I open a blank document in Notion and I do a messy brain dump. I write down a specific story I want to tell. Maybe it's a client story or it is my specific experience. I write down the main tips I want to teach based on my experience. And I do not worry about grammar, flow, or hooks, right? I just get the value out of my head, and this ensures that the video still sounds like me because it is my experience. And one thing you want to note is after you do this for a while, after you keep writing your story or your client's stories, the AI is gonna remember all of that. So a lot of times you just need to like write out some points, and they're gonna pull from previous documents, from the previous inputs that you gave it, just to come up with a script. And also what I do is there are a lot of the stories that I just write it down and store in a document. And whenever I want to create a script, if I want to pull from a specific story, I just link that document into either Gemini or ChatGPT and have it pull from the specific document. Now, the next step to my scripting is the AI element. So this is where Gemini comes in, right? I treat Gemini as a producer. I copy my messy notes and I paste them into the chat, and I use a very specific prompt. Here is the prompt. Act as an expert YouTube scriptwriter. I'm going to paste my raw notes for a video about this specific topic. Please organize these notes into a structured script. So here is the prompt. Act as an expert YouTube scriptwriter. I'm going to paste my raw notes on a video about, you're going to paste in whatever topic it is. Please organize these notes into a structured script with a strong hook, an empathetic introduction, 3 distinct main content sections, an engagement break, and a clear call to action. Keep the tone professional and warm. Now you're going to watch what happens, right? In 10 seconds, Gemini is going to take my rambling thoughts and organize them into a perfect flow. It creates a header. It suggests where you're going to put the subscriber reminder, and it's going to structure my tips logically. Now, I do not let AI write the content. I just gave it information and let it basically structure the content in a way that is more appealing. After that is done, what I do next is I simply just read through the content, because I'm not going to take everything that AI gives back to me. I'm going to tweak the wording to make it sound more natural and more like me. And then I am done. So I do script 2 videos a week using this very strategy. And the reason is, as life goes on, as I have different experiences with my clients, I'm able to implement those different experiences and stories in my videos, right? So I make sure that I write 2 scripts every single week so I can implement, whether it's a testimonial or an experience that I went through or one of my clients went through throughout the week or whatever, into my scripts. And it takes me about 30 to 45 minutes to complete a script. So I'm curious, when you try to create content for your brand, what is the hardest part? Is it coming up with the idea, or is it actually filming it? I want to know in the comments. Please comment below. Is it idea or is it filming? For me, it's filming. Coming up with the idea is easier because I already have all of this information based on data that I've already collected. So the ideas are already there. But filming, and if you want to create a weekly plan for your creative process that suits your real life, I created the weekly reset blueprint just for that. It will help you plan your week based on your energy, so you're able to stay consistent and make progress towards your side project goals. So comment weekly reset below. I'm going to send it to you, or simply go to the description box below and download the guide for yourself. Now, the next step is production. So this is the part that trips everyone up, right? Me, I can attest to that. This is the hardest part for me. But one thing that people fail to understand is you do not need to film every week, right? A lot of people feel like you need to film maybe every week or every other week. No, you do not need to do that. If I had to set up lights and my camera and do my hair and makeup every single week, I would have quit YouTube a long time ago. First of all, I do not like doing makeup a lot. I'd rather not do makeup than do it. I usually just do it just on special occasions. So for me, I always try to protect my energy, always try to look for the easiest way to get stuff done, always try to remove friction throughout whatever process that I need to do to get stuff done. With that being said, my production system relies on these 2 things: aggressive batching and Notion. I usually film 6 videos every single month for the most part. There's some months that I skip depending on how many videos I already have in my backlog. But for the most part, I do film 6 videos every single month, and this is done on 2 specific days. That is the first Wednesday and Thursday of every month. Now, this is amazing because I only get to do my makeup just twice. Just 2 times in that week, and it's not even like all of this makeup, but sometimes just the process of doing everything, it's for me, it's a lot. But I only get to do that just twice in the week. And once I do it, I do my 3 videos the first day, 3 videos the next day. If I need to do any B-roll, since that's B-roll, I really do not need my face. I can schedule to do that at any time within the week. But when it comes to doing these videos where I'm on camera, yeah, that's done just twice a week. Wednesdays and Thursdays. That's the first Wednesday and Thursday of every month or every other month. just depending on how many videos I actually need. Now, the second part to my production process is my editing workflow. I do not use any complicated software because I do not even want to learn any kind of complicated software. Editing, to me, is not something that I really want to perfect my skills on. So I always, again, remove all the friction and find the simplest thing for me. And that is why I use the script. And this is very easy to use and very convenient because you are editing the text. You're not necessarily editing the video, but you're editing the text document in the software. And how it works basically is if you delete a word in the document in the script, it basically deletes it from the video. And if you equally want to use the script, I do have the link to this tool down in the description box below. Again, this is very, very convenient. And there are a lot of videos already online that people have made that teach you how to use the script. So if you want to use it, I do recommend that you find those videos and learn how to use it. The first time is a little bit overwhelming, maybe the second time too. Do not give up. If you're not really focusing on the aesthetics and all, by the third, fourth try, you'll be able to get it. Now, when it comes to my editing process, I do edit on Wednesdays and Thursdays. So the days that I am not recording my videos, or the Wednesdays and Thursdays that I am not doing any recording, I use those days to edit. And I use what I call the 2-pass method to edit. Now, the first pass is where I simply do all of the cuts. I remove the silences, the retakes, the the mistakes. This takes time because I have a lot of mistakes when I am recording my video. That is why I hate the process because I do make a lot of mistakes. That's why I have the 2 different passes, this 2-pass method. So the first one is simply to take all of the mistakes out, remove the cuts and all of that great stuff. And the second pass is where I add B-roll and I add graphics. So separating these tasks in this way helps me not get stuck on perfectionism, right? But helps me continuously make progress and really gives me that sense of accomplishment when I complete one pass. It gives me a sense of accomplishment that, okay, I've done this part. And then when I do the next part, that accomplishment also shows that, yeah, you are actually making progress. Now, finally, which is the third part to my production process, how do I actually keep track of 6 videos without losing my mind? Which brings me to Notion. So I simply use the Kanban board in Notion, and I think I used the free template that is already in Notion and I customized it to suit my own process and my own system. And it's simply a Kanban board where every card represents a video. So what I do is at every stage in my YouTube workflow, I simply just physically drag the cards throughout the process, right? And seeing a video move from idea to ready for filming or ready to be scheduled gives me a huge dopamine hit. So it's simple. If it's not in Notion, the video really doesn't exist. This removes the mental load of always trying to remember where I'm at in the process with every project, basically. So this process turns content creation from a chaotic daily stressor into a manageable monthly appointment. Now let's talk about the final step, which is scheduling. And this right here is the most important one for consistency. I never ever upload my video on the day that is supposed to go live. In my book, that is a recipe for failure. My videos go live on Friday morning, I think 11 a.m. Eastern time. If I try to do that on Friday, it's just gonna make me stress and be filled with anxiety the whole morning, right? Even the night before, because I'm gonna be like, okay, I have to wake up early to schedule this video, and I really don't want to do that. And again, the way life works, you're gonna realize that that day your Wi-Fi is gonna break, your boss is gonna call you for an emergency meeting, or the client is gonna scream, everything is going bad, right? So no, I cannot deal with scheduling on the day off. So I do have my Thursday ritual, right? Which is I schedule my videos on Thursday evenings. So no matter what happens during the week, my videos are going to be scheduled on Thursday evening. If I know that I do not have time on Thursday, maybe there's something that has come up that I need to do on Thursday evening, I'll make sure that I schedule it maybe on Wednesday evening, right? So Thursday is basically like a recurring event on my calendar where I need to schedule my YouTube video. And that is where I create all of the description, all of the tags, and schedule it just to meet YouTube standards and best practices and all, right? If you are on YouTube, this actually takes more time than you think. It's not just putting a video and uploading it, right? No. It actually takes time for you to schedule these videos. And again, for you to meet all of the best practices for YouTube, whether they work or not, I don't know. But if you do not do it, you're going to feel like the reason why your videos are not doing well is because you do not do all of this stuff. So you just do it just to please the YouTube gods or whatever. But again, my videos will go live on Friday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern time. For the most part, that time I do not even remember that my videos go live, right? Because you've already scheduled it, it's gonna go live, and then at some point you're gonna go back to the video and maybe respond to comments and all of that. But once you schedule it, you can forget wherever you are. You don't really need to think about whether your video is live or what is happening with your videos, right? So you do not want to rely on your memory to post. You want to rely on automation. So you want to set it, forget it, and let the YouTube algorithm do its work. Now, I might have forgotten something, right? Which is my YouTube thumbnails. When do I create my YouTube thumbnails? Once I complete editing my 4 videos for the month, what I do is the very next Wednesday or Thursday, depending on when that falls within the week, I am going to create the thumbnails for the 4 videos that I have created. So all of this in my book, in my process or my system, this is the part of the production process which happens Wednesdays or Thursdays. So editing as well as thumbnails, which is graphics, that falls either on Wednesday or on Thursday. So the reason why people can have a job, have a life, and equally grow their side projects, whatever that may be, is not because they're machines. It's simply because they have a process. They have created systems and they have learned to only do what is most important at each point in their journey. When you have a plan, you do not need to stress. You just need to follow or execute the next step. So if you want to start building your own system, you first need to master your way. So download the 7-step weekly reset blueprint down in the description box below, or simply comment weekly reset down below and I'm going to send it to you. This right here is the first step to turning your chaos into consistency. So thanks so much for planning with me. Thank you for watching this video. If you do like this video, please make sure you like, hit that subscribe button, share with someone who needs a productivity boost and who needs to equally create a system, a YouTube workflow for themselves. Thanks again for watching. Make sure you watch the video on the screen next, and I'm going to see you in the next one. Bye.